So, servus again. Little meme update for more explanation of my method. Just look the last recap video or the first two videos. There I have deeper explanation into this. So, let's start with Bad Buff and Beyond. I was not really changing the tracking, I just made always a bullish version and a bearish version for everything, so it's clearer to see. So for Bad Buff and Beyond, the bullish version, we have our V here, high and low here, ABC, lower high, midpoint, and our T would be this. And we would already have made our A peak. We would already, or we have already to finish our A pullback. And the next thing would be that we go into our B peak around 36, then a 0.5 pullback of this low to this peak, 22, and then the only thing which would be left would be the run to C. For this, everything over 1269 bullish, everything under 785, and my bearish version would take over, which in my opinion I'm really more tending to. So let's go to the bearish version. For the bearish version, the last peak we did, that was our T. It isn't changing our A and B target, but the thing is, for this version, I think we will make a new low. We will break under 770 and we'll go down here. The only question is it a higher low of our low here, or do we have to do a V and A, then higher low, and then we do AB? For this, it's just, if we go down here, no financial advice, but this here is the perfect buy-in zone for the next one. Why I'm thinking that, it's just because if you look here, you're coming down from your M, you're coming down from your M, you go up again, you go up again, you're doing your M or W pattern, and you're ending this in a higher high. Here the same, you're doing your M pattern, you're coming down from your M point, coming up again, doing your M or W pattern, and you're ending this in a higher high. And as I said in the last weeks, I still think we are in this candle here, this bounce. It bounced 11-12%, and it's the same like here. Bounced 16% because it's bigger, but yeah, I think it could be wrong. That's why I'm showing both ways, but I think this version right now is good, but everything over 12, perfect. Everything under 7, not so perfect. So, next is our DGT. So, again, bullish and bearish version. Just for the overview, for the bullish version, we would be in fractal number 3 right now. This would be your first one. This would be your second one. And right now, this would be your third one. And for this, it's very important that this time we are going over our last peak at 56. Because if we are again doing a lower peak, then the death spiral continues on this stock. Doesn't matter what Trump is doing. It would be just bad. For the closest tracking, You already did your A, B, C, of course. Here would be your lower high. This would be a midpoint. And for the bullish version, this would be your T. And I really don't like that. Because normally you're coming from your M, doing a lower low, and then you start your T. But okay, for the bullish version, let's say this was your T. We did our perfect V&A. This whole thing here would be your higher low. You are on the trend line. You are not allowed to drop. Yeah, you're not allowed to drop this higher low. So everything on or under $15 make this verse wrong. But if right, your next target would be A at 32, 0.5 pullback, B at 43, 0.5 pullback. And then the question is, are we breaking C or not? For the bearish version, we would be close. For the bearish version, we just ending only one fractal. So for this, you're coming from your ABC, lower high, midpoint. This would be our T in the bullish version and our V and the A in the bullish version. Here, this one. Here we made a lower low from our M, made the lower high. This would be the perfect T. And for this, we are not finished still, because the T is ending in a lower V and A. So we would still have to come down, make our V and A. If it's a lower low than all-time lows or IPO, or a higher low of it, doesn't matter. If we bounce here and make a higher low, then we are ready to go to A. For A, it would be 56. For B, 80. And then again, in this case, it isn't so important to break all-time highs. You could just reject here, come down again, ending in a higher low, and then again. And it would look like you go to A, 0.5 pullback, B, 0.5 pullback, C. Right now, just because of my rules, I would more leaning to this, but let's see what the next weeks bring. And I'm really saying next weeks because we are so close to breaking this. If we break this, we know, because if we break $15, it's clearly the bearish version. For confirmation, I would say everything over 21, and you could really be bullish. Yeah. Okay. So next, AMC, the meme stock, the big meme stock. So first, the bullish tracking. For the bullish tracking, and there is one. Without hedge funds, without failed delivered, without shorts getting squeezed, blah 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 blah. Just fractal tracking. So for this, first of all, you have a megaphone pattern. So in my opinion, if this is playing out, I'm not saying times, but normally it's the same like here. You're coming near your megaphone, you drop to the bottom of the megaphone, you bounce from the megaphone, you fall back down to the megaphone. So it makes absolutely sense for price targets be coming up to the megaphone again. So for all tracking, we have our V here, higher low here, big A here, big B with pullback here, and your top C. Then lower high, midpoint T, fall down to your V and A, and this whole thing here. So since April 2024 till today, in the bullish tracking, would be our higher low. So if we're going up, our next price target for A would be 76. If, and I know all the series, if you're not doing a 1 part squeeze, you're coming up, reject here, make a 0.5 or even a breakout retest, and then the second part squeeze starts with your B 0.5 pullback and C. Oh, what have we done in the last weeks? We look just at the higher low at the end. So what's very important here is you have here your V and A, your higher low, then ABC, the run in May 2025. Then your low point, then your midpoint, then your T, and it was perfectly only a few cents lower. And this today, because some people ask me, couldn't be this our V and A. And the main problem I really had with this is it's a double bottom. Here is the same like here. And that's not, I mean, you could have said this was your A peak, so this would be your A low. Yeah, but still, double bottom isn't good. So on this Friday, we did the perfect lower low. So if this is right, this was your V and A perfectly. There is no if, this and that, perfectly. So the next thing we have to do is making a higher low. This has to hold. And then you go to your A, pullback, B, or like AMC is moving, you just see a straight candle. For confirmation lines. So if we break this line here, this V and A is gone. And I would imagine the next thing we will break is the low of April 2025. But I showed it in the bear version. So for this to be true, don't break 262. Quite easy. If you go over 317, you're bullish. And then you just look for price targets. I would imagine the next thing, if you really break, is filling this gap. And if you reject here or here, doesn't matter, the A can be on point, a little bit high or a little bit lower. You will do your pullback, then your B, or you really just do 1 part squeeze. Let's see. For the bearish version, nothing here or nothing in the price targets are changing. The only thing would be that this wasn't our V. The 262 isn't holding, and in my opinion then the 246 and the 239s isn't holding. I'm not thinking about that we are still coming down here, because in 2020 we also didn't touch the trend line again, but in my opinion you will come down to a new low, then a high low, and then the same thing starts over again. For bullish, yeah, for bearish confirmation, your first line not to break is 262, and the second one is 245. And I think if you break this, you will break this too. Then is only the question, do we do a new low or not? Yeah. So that was for AMC. And the last one is KOSS. Yeah, I think I only have one chart. Yeah, I only have one chart. So for KOSS, we're looking at the whole thing. Because IPO till January 85 was just our higher low. From 1985 till April 2020 was our big A. And from April 2020 till today we are just in our B. And we would already did our B peak. And we would be in the B pullback. The important thing is the B pullback doesn't have to do a V&A. It can do a higher high. So what have we done in the last weeks? So this whole thing is just B, and this whole thing from here to here is just the B pullback. So for the bullish version, we did our V&A, perfect. Here's our A, here's our B, and this would be our C, then lower high, midpoint T. And again, yeah, it is working because you have your M, lower low, up again, lower high, T. Still perfect. This V wouldn't be a V&A because it's B, and this whole thing would be your higher low. So, for the bullish part, I mean, I don't really have price targets right now for it. No. For the bullish part, I mean, for the price target, the big B would be anything over. No, if you're doing that, the B would be finished. That's the point. If you're doing that, this B pattern would be finished. And like quite everything in the market, we could go to our big C before we knife. So still, our C would be anything higher than 171, which is good. So for confirmation, everything over $7 is bullish. And for this, I would imagine that our middle A, I would think $7-ish. B would be $9-ish, just the middle one. And C should break it. Everything under 464 and the alternative would take place, because then this would be your T, and you would still look for V and A around 3 to 270, and then again you would come down here, bounce, high low, and then you go. So yeah. Last thing would be GME, but I right now don't have a perfect chart which I like. I just don't have one. So I'm not talking about it right now. because the first thing, it would be too bearish. It would make sense. So yeah, I need more price action on this. But right now I don't have a chart for GME. Okay. If you have questions, write into the comments. If you liked it, leave a like. As I said, I only will update this once a week. Because right now there is no really movement. If there's movement, I do the updates more. But right now I'm more concentrated on all other stocks and on SPY. If you want, you can look up these videos too, because in my opinion, wait for the perfect setup for these memes. Play other things instead. They are playing way, way, way better. Okay. Thank you for watching. See you next time.